Okay guys, welcome back to Educating the Modder. On this episode, I'm just going to explain a motorcycle I just built. So it's a Yamaha TW200 1993 model, and this one is built as a true-on survival motorcycle for the apocalypse.
There's got to be a better way than this.
Very nice. Anyways, I just wanted to show you guys because I figured you'd be interested. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is this bike. I had one of these about 6 years ago, and then I got rear-ended, got in a real bad wreck, and I quit riding for about 5 years because I was really scared. So, but about a year ago I started riding again, and the TW that I had, this is a TW200 again. Anyways, the one that I had big plans of doing all kinds of stuff with it. They start off, they're a dual sport motorcycle that's kind of made for slow trail use and maybe farm use, stuff like that. But I want to do something cool to it, and I never got a chance to. But now that I'm back to riding again, I know a guy, and I was like, he's got one, and I said, hey, I used to have one of those. I've been thinking about getting another one because I wanted to modify it. And he says, well, turns out I've got another one, an extra one for parts. And this right here, I got it. It was in boxes. It was completely taken apart. The guy had no idea if it ran or not. And so anyways, I put it together, and I made some very specific decisions, and I just want to let you know why. Alright, number one, I don't like the way that the dual sport version of this looks. So I mean, if you do, that's cool, whatever. I don't. But there's also, in making it look different, I had a few opportunities to do some things that are very utilitarian-like in nature. Number one thing here, you notice this gas tank. Now the gas tank, I don't know how it's going to show up on video, but it absolutely looks like shit. I got to redo it. That's the long story short there. But anyways, the reason I went with this gas tank, it's off of I believe it's a 1970 something XS 400 Yamaha, and the gas tank for the regular TW200 only holds I think it's like 1.7 gallons. It's definitely not more than 2 gallons, so it's way too small. And I wanted more gas tank. So this one right here, I don't know how much it holds exactly, but it definitely holds more than 2 gallons. My guess is it's probably a full 3 gallons, maybe even 3.5, something like that. But I had to do a few modifications to make this work. I didn't want to cut on the frame any more than I had to, but I did have to make this work. I was trying to weld little C's onto the tank, and you'll see them in the picture, right? But that really didn't work out. The tank was sitting too high and everything, so I ended up having to shave off the nubs and put the C's on the frame, as you'll see in the picture. So I had to do that. Then I also had to add a mount in the back that ran across the back here in order to bolt it down on the back side. Now, if you can fabricate, go ahead, by all means do it. It's not that big of a deal if you can weld and you can think outside of the box and go, what do I need to do to make this work? However, if you aren't that person, don't tackle this because you'll just ruin that gas tank. It's really hard to weld on gas tanks because they're so thin, unless you got a TIG set up and are really good, or you got a MIG set up and you're okay, like me. I would suggest don't even try it. But anyways, I did it. It works. It's great. I like it. I like the look of it. I just need to repaint it. For the seat, all it is just a piece of, I think it's like 14 gauge, maybe, steel, something like that. That's all it is. And I put a couple bolts in it to bolt it down to a portion of the frame, a crossbar that was already in place. But the seat is actually really unique. Aside from that, the cushion is a wool blanket. Right? In case I'm ever stranded out someplace, I can actually, the seat cover I made myself, it's out of like military grade canvas, and it's double layered, and I got these eyelets in here, and it is actually held in place by paracord. And so I've got yards and yards of paracord because of this. I've also got a wool blanket because of this. And at any time I can just release it from with the paracord, use the blanket or use the paracord to hold the blanket up. It's like a tent or something like that. So it's cool. And then I can put it back together the next day whenever I'm ready to get up and keep on going. Back here in the back, this is from a Honda CT90, which I think is just the creme de la creme of this little build. There's a lot of bracketry on the CT90 luggage rack, so you got to cut all that stuff off. And I ended up, whenever I made the extension of the frame to come out, I used a piece of angle iron in the back there. As I was doing it, I was like, man, this is a cheesy way of doing it. But turns out it actually, as I kept going, I was like, man, there's a slot right there. And it just fits right in there, snug as a bug, and that'll hold a lot of weight. As far as the frame extensions that you see here, you may not be able to see in the video, but these frame extensions right here, the frame itself, I don't know, it's something metric, but I was able to take a 5/8 bit on a drill and really slowly work it in there about 6 inches deep, and drill out that frame, and then take solid 5/8 inch steel stock and shove up in there and weld it in place. Really nice and sturdy. The fender is, I believe, from it's UFO plastic, but it is I think specifically it's for a Mako 500, old vintage dirt bike. It's just a big fat plastic fender. And back here we're not finished yet. I need to do something right here so that I can prevent mud from splashing up on my engine and stuff. I'm not finished with the bike, but it's pretty close. I chose to go with a Hella light up front for only one reason, really. It's called Hella, and that's fucking cool. So there you go. It says Hella. Better than a Pia light, better than a KC highlights. This is really cool here. It's not hooked up yet because I have yet to install my relay. I've actually got this thing wired, and the wiring is a bitch. I mean, especially like I got this thing in a crate. I didn't take it apart, nothing. I mean, the guy who did take it apart really labeled things well and stuff, but man, if you don't know your way around wiring and stuff, it can be a real headache. And this was for me as well. I probably spent 10 hours on all the wiring, to get it all buttoned up. But anyways, I decided to go with a keyless setup on this thing because it's a survival bike. I don't want to be like, oh, I lost my keys and now I can't survive. I don't think the apocalypse is coming, but I have fun with this stuff. It's fun, right? So I'm not hurting anybody. But anyway, so everything is just tied through the off and run switch, right? Right now it's in off, can't do nothing. Put it in run, fires right up. So, and the lights will be done that way as well. The only thing is with the lights, they're going to draw enough current to where this switch isn't going to be able to, well, it just won't last. It'll end up burning up and it'll short out and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I got to use a relay that this switch controls the relay, and then the lights will work. I'm still waiting on a tail light as well. I'll probably end up doing something as far as a an air breather setup. Right now I just got the open foam filter, which is great, it's pretty good, but if I'm really wanting it to be a utilitarian style of survival bike, then I need to actually make it a little bit water safe, at least a little bit. This right here, I built this so that I can hook it up and everything, and set in a can of soup and warm soup. So it's got a little stove on there as well. So it's a really cool little setup. I like it. And the only things that are left to do really is, like I said, the back fender, got some more work there. Got to work on the lights a little bit, but it's, you know, now it's just piddly little plinking around type of stuff, and so it's all fun for me. So at this point, at least, because it runs, I can ride it. But the little stove that goes on the exhaust right here is going to get wrapped up in fiber. What is it called? Fiberglass exhaust insulation. You know, exhaust wrap, whatever. And then right here on this side, I've got a knife already made. I just gotta make the sheath now, and it's gonna have a sheath right here with a knife that always stays on it. So, anyways, that's my TW200. It's gonna have a lot of stuff more in store in the future. I just got a 225 motor that I'll probably end up boring and stroking and doing all this stuff to it. But anyways, for now, this is what I got, and maybe I'll come back later for an update and show you more. See ya.